In this video, we are going to use properties of angle pairs to prove that lines are parallel. So yesterday we learned if lines are parallel, then corresponding angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, and alternate exterior angles are congruent. Also, if lines are parallel, we learned that same side interior angles are supplementary and same side exterior angles are supplementary. So today we are going to use the converse. So the converse means that we're switching the order here. So first we're going to have the angles are congruent or supplementary to show that the lines are parallel. So determine which lines, if any, are parallel and justify your answers. So in number 1, they told us that 2 and 10 are congruent. So if angle 2 and angle 10 are congruent, those are corresponding angles, which should be congruent. So now we know that the lines that they are touching are parallel. So if A is the transversal, the other two lines are C and D. So we know then that C is parallel to D because corresponding angles congruent, so lines are parallel. In number 2, we have 4 is congruent to 5. Those are alternate exterior angles. So in this case, C would be our transversal. So A and B are parallel. So we would say that A is parallel to B because alternate exterior angles congruent. So lines are parallel. In number 3, we have angle 13 is congruent to angle 8. Well, those don't have a transversal, so in this case we have none. And in number 4, we have that angle 11 plus angle 10 is equal to 180, which means they are supplementary and they are same side. So D is going to be our transversal and A and B are our parallel lines. So here we would say A is parallel to B because same side interior angles are supplementary, so lines are parallel. So now we're going to solve for our variable. The difference here, though, is that the lines are not going to have the parallel symbol. We have to figure out if they are parallel. So in order to figure out if they're parallel, we got to figure out what x value will make them parallel. So what relationship would make A and B parallel? So in this case, these are alternate interior angles, which means we need them to be congruent. So we have x squared minus 3x equals negative x plus 14. So we can add 8x and subtract 14 from both sides. X squared plus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So we need two numbers that multiply to negative 14 and add to positive 5. So we have x plus 7 and x minus 2. When we switch our signs, x is negative 7 and x is 2. If I plug in negative 7 squared minus 3 times negative 7 is positive. Negative 8 times negative 7 plus 14 is positive. So negative 7 gets to stay. If I put in 2 squared minus 3 times 2 is negative 2. We can't have a negative angle, so that x value is not going to work. In number 6, when we look at these angles, we have same side exterior angles, which means they need to be supplementary. So this means that they're going to equal 180 degrees. So 15x minus 21 plus 6x plus 54 equals 180. So we combine like terms, we get 21x minus 33 is equal to 180. So to solve for x then, we're going to do 2 steps. We are going to add 33 to both sides. So we get 21x equals 213. And when we divide by 21, we get a decimal. So when we reduce our fraction, we get 71 over 7. In number 7, solve for x and y. So first, I want to look at my x equations, and I know that these are corresponding angles. So corresponding angles have to be congruent. So we would have 7x minus 11 is equal to 3x plus 33. So we get 4x minus 11 is equal to 33. We can add 11 on both sides. 4x equals 44. So when we divide, x is 11. So these were corresponding angles. When we look at these two angles, they are same side exterior, which means that they have to be supplementary. So we have 2y plus 44 plus 3y minus 39 is equal to 180. So as we combine like terms, we get 5y plus 5 equals 180. We can subtract 5 from both sides. 5y equals 175. So when we divide by 5, y is 35. In number 8, given that A is parallel to B, is C parallel to D? So right now, we know that A and B are parallel lines. We have to figure out if C and D have that same relationship. So right now, they are just transversals. So the yellow transversal has two angles on it. So we're going to use that first. 7x minus 44 and 3x plus 28 are alternate interior angles. So they are congruent. So we have 7x minus 44 is equal to 3x plus 28. We are going to solve for x. So as we solve, we get 4x minus 44 equals 28. We can add 44 to both sides, so 4x equals 72. So we get that x is 18. Now, once we know x is 18, we need to figure out is C parallel to D. So we want to use this angle and one of the other angles to figure out what their relationship is. So if I use 5x plus minus 9 and 3x plus 28, those are corresponding angles. So we need to see, are these two angles going to be congruent? So we're going to put x into both of those. So we have 3 times 18 plus 28, and that gets us 82 degrees. Then we have 5 times 18 minus 9, and that gets us 81 degrees. So those corresponding angles are not congruent, so we would say C is not parallel to D because corresponding angles are not congruent. So in number 9, A is parallel to B. So even though they don't look parallel, once they told us they are, we know that they are parallel. So we want to figure out, are C and D parallel to each other? So in this case, when we look at our problem, 12x minus 10 and 7x are on the same transversal. They are same side exterior angles, which means that they need to be supplementary. So we have 12x minus 10 plus 7x is equal to 180. 19x minus 10 is equal to 180. 19x equal to 190. So when we divide, x is 10. Then we need to look at an angle from each transversal. So we have this 5x plus 20 and 7x. Those are corresponding angles, so they need to be congruent. So we have 5 times 10 plus 20 is 70 degrees, and 7 times 10 is 70 degrees. So because they are the same measure and they are corresponding angles, this time C is parallel to D because corresponding angles are congruent, so lines are parallel.